I what the fuck did I just watch? Rangers win, baby. 7-4 over the Dallas Stars in what was the most bizarre hockey game I have seen in a very long time, at least from the Rangers, because nothing will be more bizarre than that Leafs Red Wings game that happened a couple of weeks ago, actually. But the Rangers win 7-4 in a game that was, sure, I mean, they won, but am I happy? No. uh yeah, you're still seeing way too many glaring holes with this team. Just it was not the prettiest win, but it was a win. So I guess we take it as the Rangers now move to second place in the division. We are now over what 75% of the way through the season. So yeah, and the Rangers are sitting here in second place. I guess I'll take it. But if you are can't talk. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like. That's what I meant to say. If you're new, though, that's what I want to say. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. We recap every single Rangers game here, win or lose. And turn the notifications on so you know when I upload, even though it is after every single Rangers game. So you can come to the channel, and it will most likely be there within an hour or so, unless I'm at the Ranger game, because then obviously I need time to get home from the game and then record the video. But, so yes, the Rangers, this was a roller coaster of a game, and I don't know how to feel about this one, because there were things that I loved about this game, and there were things that absolutely made me want to rip my hair out and just that made me explode. But thankfully, more positives tonight than we've seen from the past few games. That is for damn sure. Did they start off good? Hell no. No, they did not. But yeah, it starts off early with the scoring for Dallas. Let's just jump into this. Issa Liddell from, who even is this? Hanley? Joel Hanley? I've never heard of him. But it starts off early, and Adam Fox was just an absolute lazy back check. Panarin tries to make a defensive play there, and Igor with just a disgrace of a goal to let up. He should not have let that up. No excuses on that one. And Dallas goes up early in this one. And you got the vibe. You're like, yeah. This one's probably gonna be over. So yeah, let's get ready for a nightmare of a game. But then the Rangers actually had a pretty solid chance after that, where Strome and Hunt were up on the rush there. Hunt misses an open net, as always, and then Strome gets the rebound, and instead of electing to shoot the puck, what does he try to do? Pass it over to, I think it was Panarin, or it might have been Hunt. Tries to pass it over to one of them, though, and yeah, obviously the pass doesn't go through. Then, not too long after that, Tyler Seguin scores from Kiviranta and Lindell. I do not know if I pronounced that last name right, but just a deflection goal there. I don't know what K'Andre Miller tripped on, but it must have been, I don't know if it was air or what it was, but he trips and loses control of the puck, and obviously gets taken away from him. And K'Andre Miller, what does he do? Not tie up Tyler Seguin, and Dallas all of a sudden is up 2-0 early, and they kept putting the pressure on, and you're sitting back like this with your eyes closed, crying. It was just embarrassing. It was just embarrassing. But then the Rangers, out of nowhere, they're like, oh, wait a second. The game started. Oh, okay. All right, let's go. Let's go play some hockey. But then you have K'Andre Miller, who it looked like he scored, but it went off of Greg McKegg's leg as he fired a shot, though, from the blue line that was K'Andre Miller. Julian Gauthier also picks up an apple on that. How about a very rare combination there of McKegg, Miller, and Gauthier for a goal? So, yeah, the Rangers end up cutting the lead quickly. Not quickly. I should say they end up tying the game, though, quickly. Because I tweeted, by the way, Gallant was happy that his son scored. Yeah. But then Johnny Brzezinski gets hooked right in the nuts, and I felt that pain. I knew when he was hunched over the way he was that's where it was. He gets hooked, and the Rangers go on the power play, and right off the bat, Mika Zibanejad wins it to Artemi Panarin. Panarin down the Strome. Strome to Zibanejad, fires that one in the net, and the Rangers tie the game at 2 quickly. And then after that, Adam Fox, he gets a great opportunity, but misses on that. Then the Rangers start to cycle a little bit. Panarin finds Trouba. Trouba shoots that, and it gets tipped in by Adam Fox, and the Rangers all of a sudden are up 3-2. And then after that, because it was only seconds after, and this was in the span of what, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Artemi Panarin scores from a very weird angle. I still am trying to figure out how that puck went in. I don't know if it went off of someone or not, but yeah, that one's assisted by Keandre Miller and Dryden Hunt. About Dryden Hunt there with an apple, and the Rangers all of a sudden have life, and they're at 4-2, and you're like, where the hell has this team been all year? Because they were getting some opportunities that I have not seen in a very long time. You have Panarin shooting the puck a lot. He had another scoring opportunity after his goal, and it was such a great period by the end of it. 14-11 were the shots in total for the first period. I was very pleased with the end of it. I'm like, all right, boys. All right, let's carry that over. You know what they did after that. The Rangers got a power play, I believe, early in the second period, and Strome passes it to Thornia. Yeah. And then after that, Dallas got a power play. Oh, this was the worst. So Dallas gets a power play, even though earlier in the sequence, Dryden Hunt clearly got slashed, but they don't call it. And Ryan Lindgren, they call his penalty, though. And then Johnny Brzezinski ends up taking a penalty. And what happens? It's a 5-on-3 with 1 second left, of course, because of course 1 second left. Jason Robertson scores from Klingberg and Hint. So, of course, the Rangers have to kill off a penalty after. But Robertson's goal should not have counted. It clearly went off. He clearly hit it in with this glove. And it was clear as day the way he turned his body that it wasn't just something that it rubbed off on his glove and accidentally did and went in. No, he changed the direction of the puck with the glove. So I'm definitely not going to fault Igor for that one. Great, there was a 5-on-3 too, so why would I? But just embarrassing officiating there. But it is what it is, I guess. Hurts Igor's numbers, which I don't like to see. I don't like to see how much Igor's numbers are getting hurt by these past 2 games. Sorry, need water. But then the Rangers went back to looking like just a lazy team. And then towards the end of the second, they actually looked like they had a bit of jump to their game. They got some good opportunities. And then one of them they capitalized on. Patrick Nemeth with a wraparound goal somehow gets it under the blade of Ottinger, who doesn't hug the post well there. And at first you couldn't tell it was a goal, but then they reviewed it. Was Panarin and Hunt get the assists. Hunt with 2 apples there. He ended up finishing with 3, by the way. But Patrick Nemeth makes the game 5-3. Just who had Greg McKegg and Patrick Nemeth scoring in the game same game, but yeah, who had them scoring in the game too. But it was just such a weird period. And then the third period, it was the second period shots 13-8, but third period the Rangers were looking really good in this period, but it was also boring because they were just playing shutdown hockey pretty much all period. And then Joe Micheletti has to mention, oh, Dallas only has 1 shot. And then what happens? Barca Goudreau, terrible turnover, and it leads to a rush the other way. Roope Hintz, he is way too fast, man. Klingberg gets the assist on this too. And then Hintz with the shot, and Joe Pavelski scores because, of course, he deflects that one in. Lindgren tried his best to tie him up. I can't fault him there, and I can't fault Igor there. So, yeah, Dallas all of a sudden cuts it to 5-4. And it just sucks that Igor got screwed so much this game, man. Like, he should have only allowed 1 goal. That first goal should have been the only goal allowed by him. It just sucks so much. But thankfully, the Rangers, they didn't let Dallas take too much control of the game. They had a bit control, But thankfully, the Rangers responded afterwards and got the 2-goal lead back. Barclay Goodrow with a beautiful snipe. Hedel with a great play to find Barclay Goodrow up. And then Barclay Goodrow just with a beautiful snipe on Ottinger. And then the Rangers just kept putting the pressure on. And Ryan Strome gets the empty netter. Somehow doesn't miss it from Dryden Hunt and Artemi Panarin. And the Rangers get the dagger. And it is a 7-4 game. Shots on goal for that period, 9-7 in favor of Dallas. For the game, 33-29 in favor of Dallas for shots, 63-37 in the faceoff dot for Dallas. Hits 23-19 in favor of Dallas. Block shots, 13-10 in favor of Dallas. Giveaways, 9 for the Rangers at 14 for the Stars. But the Rangers, for whatever reason, decided to go with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen again tonight, which I thought was weird, but sure, it worked, I guess. I didn't think it worked too great, but it worked because we got the win, obviously. So, yeah, in terms of each individual line, try to break this one down. The first line of Lafreniere, Zajac, Kreider, they have not looked too great as of lately. They had a couple good shifts this game, but nothing too spectacular. They didn't get on the score sheet. Kreider's just been, I don't know where he's been these past few games, but it's definitely scary to see him disappear this way because we need him to come back and score some goals. But overall, not a terrible game from them. The second line was definitely the best of the night. That being Panarin, Strome, and Hunt, believe it or not. Hunt actually had a pretty decent game. Panarin, he made a couple bad turnovers, which was frustrating. And then Strome, but that line just makes so many dumb, frustrating plays. But then their offense, obviously, is just so exciting because it's Artemi Panarin. But they also just make way too many dumb plays. But they were definitely the best line. Not that it was anything spectacular from them, but they were the best line of the night. The third line tonight, what even was it? Barclay Goodrow, Filip Chytil, Johnny Brodzinski. Sure, I mean, Barclay Goodrow has just made every line better. I was talking about it on the Ice Cold Takes podcast. Be sure to listen to that because he was nice enough to have me on. So go follow him on Twitter as well. But we were talking about how Barclay Goodrow makes every line better, and it was certainly true. Chytil's looked pretty solid with Barclay Goodrow playing with him. Johnny Brodzinski had a pretty rough game. Not just because he got hit in the nuts, but just because he didn't play the best. And then the two extra guys ended up being Julian Gauthier and Greg McKegg. They actually had decent games, somewhat. I mean, Greg McKegg, because he makes some dumb plays. I wouldn't say he had a good game. He had a lucky goal, but Gauthier had a pretty decent game. For the defense, Lindgren and Fox, it was also rotated with Hayek and Fox. Lindgren, definitely an improvement from what we've seen, but nothing too great there. Fox, decent game. I'm not happy with the way that he handled that first goal, though. That's for sure. Miller and Trouba defensively are just a nightmare, and they cannot be a defensive pair. There are so many dumb plays that they're making. Later on, they ended up making a couple plays where I was like, oh, there you go. Way to use your body for once, Trouba. Way to use your body there for once, Miller. Way to not wave at the air there. There were a couple times. And then Nemeth and Schneider were okay. They were okay. And it's just Shesterkin. I can only fault him for one goal. And I'm sure that people are going to be idiots and blame him completely, but it is what it is. But let's get the Twitter early in this one, because I don't even have much to say with this game, because this game was just, I'm trying to figure out what I watched still. I still have no clue what I watched, but let's get to Twitter. Chesty, please win. I believe this is actually Cranges' account, so thank you for saying this in. Is this, I thought that, I don't even know if it is. It might be. I don't know, but thank you for replying. Anyway, sorry if you weren't. Just the name I thought was. But the Rangers are being humbled with sloppy goaltending tonight. May have saved the season. Sadly, though, I think Igor's MVP case is fading away. I still think he's a lock for the Vezina, though. I don't know if you could say that his MVP case is fading away. If he has a couple, I don't think that this game was his fault by any stretch of the imagination, like I said. But could, just because of it being on paper, and that's how obviously the voters look at it, could this hurt him? Yes. But I don't think that 2 games is going to be the end all be all for him. If he keeps this up and it has games more like this on the stat sheet, then yes. And either way, the Toronto voting bias, I just think, is either way going to win Matthews to Hart. But I don't think he could say his MVP case is fading away, considering there's times where Matthews has an off game. He doesn't score a goal sometimes, doesn't get a point even. There are times where he doesn't produce. So I just think it's ridiculous that when Igor has some bad games, everyone's like, oh, no more of him in the MVP conversation. But then Matthews disappears for a game and he's still the MVP favorite. Like, come on now. I think that's just a bit ridiculous. I don't mean to like be mean about it. I just think that, you know, it's a bit, I'm sorry if I came off that way, but it's just ridiculous to me. New York Style 24 says, now that's how you respond. Laffy had a very underrated game tonight. To an extent, there were times where he was noticeable, but I don't think that he had a spectacular game by any stretch of the imagination where I was like, wow, he definitely deserved to get on the score sheet. But he did make some nice plays. But yeah, you're right about the response. And this team does usually respond. So hopefully they keep that up, because that is definitely something good that I'd like to see them keep up, because why wouldn't you? New York Rangers podcast has just a meme, Ranger fans before the game and after the game. It's Baby Yoda and then Yoda in the original Star Wars movies where he's like 1,000 years old. Yeah, that sums it up. That definitely sums it up, especially for me. I'm only 18. I'm gonna have gray hair at a very young age because of this team. Mika the Cry says, thoughts on Strom's empty netter and McKegg goal tonight and the overall performance of the D-man. Strom's empty netter. Glad he could hit an open net. Good to see. McKegg. It's embarrassing that Dallas let up in the same game a goal to Greg McKegg and Patrick Nemeth, even if the McKegg goal just went off of him. And the overall performance of the defenseman tonight, there are times where they looked like they were shutting them down, but then there were other times where they just looked so bad that it was costly. Like, this is the problem. They either all look like Norris caliber defensemen, or they look like they make mistakes that not even Pee-wee hockey players would make. At least if you're going to make mistakes, rebound from them and don't make them costly where it's going to end up in the back of your net. Ridiculous. Anwar Tet says, what were you thinking after we went down 2-0 early? I thought, here we go again. But thankfully, I didn't have to worry and they won the game, even though I'm still stressed and not thrilled by the way this game played out. I'd like to see a better effort against Anaheim. They got a couple of days off. Now you're coming back home. Let's see what they can do, and hopefully a move is made, because I'm dying for one already. But that is going to be it for the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're fans. Turn notifications on, and I will see you guys in the next one.